The internet is everything. From smartphones to tablets, we access the web more often now than before, and while it certainly has its perks, the internet is also a hotbed of crime and illegal activity, especially on the dark web.
On November 16, 2017, the Philippine National Police Women and Children Protection Sector and the Anti-Cybercrime Group led an entrapment operation against a couple who allegedly exposed their 3-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old girl to online sexual predators. This was after they had received information from and referral from a Spanish police. On the day of the sting operation, a policeman carrying in a search warrant issued by the original trial court, Branch 60, proceeded to the target apartment in Mabalacat City, Pampanga, while the undercover police officer was chatting with the accused, who were asking 5,000 pesos for each online sexual session.
The couple was arrested and was convicted of violating Republic Act No. 9775 or the Anti-Child Pornography Act of 2009. The court said in a 60-page decision that child pornography is a detestable act that every society must seek to eliminate. These offenses involve sexual gratification at the expense of children, the supposed future shapers of our country. Hello and good day. I am VIENNA.
And I am KATHRYN INGIAEN. We are joined here today with Attorney Manuel, the SDW Representative Secretary Janelle Manuel, and Police Officer Daniel Jacinto. One of the internet crimes that are still rampant nowadays is child pornography. We all know that child pornography is the act of using the internet to show child pornography. The treatment of children as sexual objects has existed throughout the ages, and so too has the production of erotic literature and drawing involving children. Attorney LUCEN, what are the penalties that can be charged to the offender to the victim, and who are those who can file a complaint against the offender other than the victim?
The penalty depends on who the offender is, whether he is related to the victim, a juridical person, or a foreigner. And the penalties that can be imposed on the offender are also determined, or they also depend by the type of offenses that they committed. And I'm not going to enumerate them all because there are a variety of penalties.
It is saddening that child pornography is still happening, that children are being used as sex toys, that children are being used as sex commodities, and in the market, the younger they are, the more sellable they are. I can't really imagine how you went through this experience. Ms. Secretary, what will happen to the offended party or to the children who are victims of any form of child pornography? Are there any programs for them?
In accordance with existing laws, the DSWD will ensure that a child who is a victim of any form of a child pornography receives mandatory service such as shelter, appropriate housing, appropriate care, custody, and support for their recovery and reintegration, as well as give them counseling, free legal services, which will include information about the victim's rights and the procedure for filing complaints, claims for compensation, and such other legal remedies available to them in a language understood by the child, medical or psychological services, livelihood and skills training, and educational assistance.
Officer Jacinto, I'm quite curious about how you do investigation in this type of cases.
Of course, when doing investigations and dealing with evidences, we treat them with confidentiality. We have to respect the child's privacy and follow the rules, like how they also show evidences in childhood cases like this. It is important that rules must be observed.
Any crimes involving children are serious, and child pornography is no different. Any individual who uses the internet to transmit visual depictions of explicit conduct involving minors can be charged with child pornography. As mentioned, this is considered as federal crime, with offenders being subjected to imprisonment, fines, and possible registration as sex offenders.
There's a well-known saying that goes like this: a child is the hope of the future. As the world becomes more connected to the internet, we as adults should be more vigilant in making sure that the children are protected. In some cases, this means protecting them from only parents. It might also mean protecting them from themselves of a child is considered as the hope of the future. It is actually the adults who pave the way for these children. As such, when the situation arises and the need of reporting these unlawful instances comes our way, let us not turn a blind eye. Thank you, Attorney Lucena, Officer Jacinto, and the SDW Representative Secretary Manuel. And I am KATHRYN.
And I am VIENNA, JAVELLANA. This is the Valley News.